arms work just as hard as our legs. Fire up your triceps.
Your hips are dipping, always the option to come down to the knee.
Not as a weakness, but as a sense of strength, something that's empowering.
Namaste.
Hi yogis, Katy Gassaway here with October's free video. So if you're enjoying the free videos, I highly suggest you head over to my Patreon account and subscribe because, you know, not that those are necessarily better, but there's certainly a lot more of them and I spend more time. They're a little bit longer videos and you get a full hour flow each month too. So yeah, go check out Patreon if you haven't already. But today's free tutorial is going to be about binding. So I have noticed a lot in class and I've noticed in my practice too, binding can be really challenging. I mean, it is really challenging, but sometimes we even make it harder on ourselves than maybe it needs to be, and we're not really working towards maybe the intention of the bind, and we're just trying to like force our bodies into the shape that we think they're supposed to be in. So today I'm hopefully going to kind of unravel that, pun intended, to show you kind of really more what the idea with binds are. So you can do this with any bind. You could do it with like a yogi squat bind. You could do it with like a Marichi bind. You could do it with really any bind you want. I'm going to use extended side angle because I feel like it gives the best example of what I'm talking about. It's the easiest to see. So first of all, what am I talking about binding? An extended side angle, for this example, it would be where you start to take your arm around behind your back. So this would be a half bind if you just kind of let the arm rest behind you, kind of like this. If you're doing a full bind, that's when we start to have the arm come underneath and we try to interlace our hands. Now, what I see happen a lot with binding, especially an extended side angle, is we get to this place where, actually I'm going to face this way, we get to this place where we're so intent on grabbing our fingers, because that's what the teacher just told us to do, that we reach under here, our chest starts caving down, and we're like, and we can't breathe, but oh my God, we got our fingers, so we're doing it totally right. Well, not entirely, because the idea is to stretch through your chest, to open up your shoulders, and you're actually doing the opposite when you kind of like cave forward and like bleh, and then you feel like you're going to collapse on your face. So instead of doing that, which I mean that sounds awesome, but focusing more on opening up your chest, so rolling the shoulder down and back, and actually finding this opening here, stretching through the front of the chest. I still have a hold of my fingers, and I have now all this space. So you can notice the difference from this to this, right? So I've been working a really long time and really hard on that. Trust me, it did not come the first time I tried it. Using a strap. Straps are your friends, props are your friends, okay? So what you can do is take the strap in your top hand, loop it around behind you, reach underneath, grab the strap where you can, and try to grab it as short as you can, because if you give yourself too much space, you're gonna start to use it. You're gonna start to collapse. It's just not gonna work as well. So use as little of the strap as you need to and start rolling the shoulder down and back. And I'll do it the other way just so you can see my chest too. So keeping the strap in the top hand, looping it behind you, reaching underneath, grabbing where you can, and then finding that down and back action with your top shoulder. So again, we're not collapsing and kind of missing the point. Because also when you do that, you lose your abdominal activation as well. You're just kind of like blah. It's very hard to stay active through your belly. When you roll open like this, you're keeping the obliques really active. You're keeping your spine really long. So again, like I said, same principle applies. Let's say we're in a yogi squat and we're trying to bind our arms around behind us. Again, we might be so intent on grabbing our fingers, and then your head's down like this and your shoulders are all rounded and you're like a little turtle shell. Instead of doing that, rolling your shoulders down and back, sitting up tall. Again, using a strap if we need to. And it feels better. You can breathe better. You're creating space in the parts you're supposed to be creating space in. But yeah, so that's my tip on binding. hopefully that's helpful and it made somewhat kind of maybe sense. Try it. If it didn't, I'm sorry. Go check out the Patreon videos. Those maybe will make more sense, all right? But if you have requests, always feel free to let me know. I tend to choose things that people ask about a lot in class. This is one of those things. But if you have other things you want to know about, I always need ideas. So leave me a comment or go head over to Patreon and do a full-length practice with me. That would be great too. Thanks for checking it out, and I'll see you next time.